Uj, ready to rock and roll? Huh? Okay, cool. So we'll move today into module 3, which is introduction to Facebook. Yeah. So we'll talk a little bit about Facebook, and Uj is logging in now. Are you here? Yeah. Okay, cool. Let me make you a co-host. Yeah.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Well done for completing the second module on Google Workspaces. I know there was a lot to get through, but everything you've learned in that module is going to become very, very handy for you, not only as we kind of progress through this digital marketing course, but more broadly across everything you do moving forward. And so I'm sure you'll recognize that a lot of the skills you've learned in word processing, in spreadsheets, in forms and data capture, these are really useful skills you can apply to just about any kind of business or just about any kind of digital project you might be involved in moving forward. So these are already what we call transferable skills, which you should absolutely add to your resumes and CVs and kind of talk about, whenever you're looking for jobs or new projects moving forwards. So now that we've covered a lot of the basics of how to work with some of these really fundamental digital tools, we're going to start moving into some more of the kind of marketing and more contextually relevant stuff to this program. And so right at the start, we discussed that Facebook is one of the largest platforms, one of the largest social media platforms in the world. And its kind of usage and adoption in Cambodia is quite phenomenal. And so there's a very large portion of the Cambodian kind of population uses Facebook either for traditionally for kind of social activities, so viewing videos and talking to their friends and all that stuff, but also for things like the marketplace and other kinds of really interesting applications. Part of Facebook's ecosystem, they also own Instagram, and they also own WhatsApp. And so the really interesting thing about Facebook and Facebook marketing is you can start to market not only on Facebook natively, but also across their entire ecosystem in places like Instagram as well. So let's take a quick look at what we'll be looking at as part of this module. Let me just pull that up in front of me here. And so as part of this module, we're going to be looking at the fundamentals of Facebook marketing, or rather the Facebook ecosystem. So it's going to be looking at things like Facebook in the Cambodian context. So how is Facebook relevant? Why is Facebook relevant to marketing in Cambodia? We'll look at what it means to the local marketplace. We'll also take a look at what a Facebook ad is, right? So we're doing all this kind of talking about Facebook advertising and digital marketing, but what is a Facebook ad? How do they work? What do they look like? Where do they appear? We'll start to look at some of these really core kind of questions and give you some ideas and insights into how Facebook ads look and work. Then we'll take a step back and look at something called the buyer's cycle. Now, this is a really fundamental piece of any kind of marketing or really any kind of business development you will do moving forwards. And so the buyer's cycle is essentially the process that people go through from the point of having never heard about a product to buying that product. And so it's all about the different stages we go through, the human psychology that is at play here. This is a really fundamental thing for you to pay really close attention to, because the difference between a winning and successful marketing campaign and one which is less so is often the one who has spent more time understanding their buyer's cycle and therefore understanding their audience is going to have a much better chance of succeeding in their marketing efforts. And as we progress through this program, we'll be looking back at the buyer cycle and looking back at how that impacts things like our audience creation and our audience targeting. So that the buyer's cycle or the buying cycle is a really important thing that I want you guys to really spend some time thinking about and getting familiar with. We'll then look at something called ad objectives. And so in Facebook, Facebook is very similar to a lot of modern advertising platforms in that they have formats and set ways of doing things. And so the ads objective we'll look at is very much looking at what the goals are for your ad. And so what is the objective your ad is trying to achieve? That might be things like capturing more customers. So we call these leads. So capturing more leads. It might be, increasing brand awareness for your company or organization. It might be more clicks on your website. It could be people clicking in to start a messenger conversation. So there are many different objectives that are available in the Facebook ecosystem, and we'll look at each one of these and when you might use an ad objective and what the benefits of it are. We'll then look at something called ad formats. And so where ad objectives are very much what your ad is trying to do, an ad format is what your ad will look like. So, will it be a photo ad? Will it be a video ad? Will it be a carousel ad? And so a carousel ad, for example, is a series of different either photo ads or video ads, or could be both. And so there are different formats, different ways that your advertisement can look like. And we'll kind of discuss and explore each of these as part of this module. We'll then go on to look at something called Facebook Business Manager. And so Facebook Business Manager is the collection of tools that Facebook has created to help us really build and manage our advertising in a really professional way. And so anybody can create a Facebook ad from their, or kind of use the Facebook advertising platform from their normal personal profile. What a business account allows us to do is do this in a much more professional manner, a much more organized manner, and it allows us to work in teams by kind of incorporating other people into our business manager account. And there are lots of really great benefits from security and insights and information that we can look at more deeply as part of this module. So it's the Facebook Business Manager. Inside a Facebook Manager, we have something called the Facebook Ads Manager. So the Ads Manager is the actual tool we will use to create and set up and launch our first Facebook ads. It's a really exciting thing that I want you guys to kind of be thinking about is, by the end of this, we'll have created our own Facebook ads, and we'll be able to choose the format, we'll be able to choose the objective, we'll have a much better idea of how to create, how to plan, and how to execute really successful Facebook ads. And so the Ads Manager is where we'll actually launch these ads out into the world. What we'll then look at is Facebook ad accounts. And so Facebook ad accounts are essentially just what they say, they're the accounts through which your adverts will be launched. So we'll look at what they mean, how to set those up, and why they're important. And finally, we'll look at two last things. One is going to be called one is how we add team members to the Facebook Business Manager account. So I mentioned just earlier that one of the benefits of a business account, a Facebook Business Manager account, is that we can collaborate with other team members. And so as part of this project, you'll be put into groups and be working on ads as groups. And so this is a really great way for us to kind of collaborate inside of the Facebook ecosystem. And then finally, we'll look at something called Facebook Pixel. And so Facebook Pixel is a really powerful tool which Facebook have developed, which allows us to track users beyond and outside of the Facebook website and app ecosystem. And so what a pixel does is it's a piece of code which your company that you're working with, either a development team or yourselves potentially could add into a website, and that will then track users between different web pages, different websites, and the Facebook ecosystem. And so you may have seen, for example, if you look at something on one website and then you go to another website, you might see that same thing, that same advert following you onto the new website. And when you come onto Facebook, you might see that same advert in your Facebook feed or in your ads panel on the right. And so this is what Facebook Pixel does. It's a really powerful way to do something which we call retargeting. And so we'll look at Facebook Pixel. We won't go into too much detail about setting one up, because it's a slightly more advanced topic area, but we'll certainly look at the details around Facebook Pixel and why it's so powerful and how we might use it in the future. And so this module is very much an introduction to Facebook and an introduction to the ecosystem. We'll go on in future, in the following modules to come up, in how we work with clients, and then how we actually set up our first Facebook ad, from creating our imagery or our videos to our ad copy and everything else. This module is very much focused on giving you an introduction to the Facebook ecosystem, what it's about, the different components, and helping you really understand the foundational elements before we get started into creating our first Facebook ad. So I won't take up any more of your time in terms of telling you what we'll do, because I'm really excited and eager for you to jump into the course itself. So before we do that, does anyone have any questions? Has anyone got anything they want to ask or discuss before we jump into getting started?
No question, just ready to explore and learn more about the app. Thank you.
Cool, thank you. Anybody else?
Thank you.
For my answer is like same as Bonsak. Like no question at all, but I'm so ready to learn.
Great. Awesome. Everyone's excited. Good. I'm excited too.
I think there was someone who I've heard in the background who wanted to say something.
For me, it's now just looking forward. Really excited for that.
Okay,
Great to hear, guys. I'm thinking, I'm going to split the rooms again, but I'm thinking this time maybe I'll assign automatically. So we kind of reshuffle the rooms a little bit. What do you guys think? Just so you pair up with people that you maybe haven't worked before last week. Yeah. So, because it's good to have to basically just change, mix and match, because I think every module is going to be different, and it's good to pair up with people who have complementary skills to yours, so then you learn from them, they learn from you.
Awesome.
Yes?
Agree. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Could you, before I move you into the rooms, can one of you please try? So I've changed into the main settings, so you have the ability to share your screen. Can you try and see if you can share your screen? Any of you, please?
Yeah, I can share.
You can share. Okay, awesome. So then that makes it a bit easier when we break out into rooms. Okay, so I'll assign automatically 3 breakout rooms. So just create that now. We should have around 10 people per room. I mean, depending, 8 to 10 people. So just doing that now. Have fun, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Yeah, just ask away.
Yeah, just let us know if there are any questions. As I said, this module is more about reading and understanding. And so, any questions, drop them in the chat or can you give us a poll?
Facebook, this Facebook module is a lot more reading than expected. We were expecting sort of similar to the Google Workspace, but it's actually better understanding, actually, in details, in depth understanding, because we had to actually go through every what do you call that, lesson? Yeah, to get to understand and do the quiz. Otherwise, we wouldn't understand. But comparing to the Google one, we can just briefly watch the video and then we can straightly do the quiz, because because we're very familiar with some of the Google app like Slides and Sheet, or Doc, that quite familiar with the Microsoft Office.
Mm.
But very interesting, something new.
How about the rest of you guys? How are you finding it?
In depth,
Oh.
I found it quite interesting, but well, I read almost all of them. It just make me sleep like 10 seconds after all. Well, I think will we have some more like practice mode? I think reading is really interesting, but I think I might need the practice one. Or will we have that in the future? Do you know what I mean, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you do you wanna?
So let me just jump in that real quick. So yes, absolutely. I think what we discussed this morning was that this module is very much designed to give you the foundational information. And so it's designed to kind of give you an understanding of what the building blocks are in the Facebook ecosystem, which is why it is quite text and information heavy, because I think this is information you can refer back to at later stages when you need to do more detailed activities or setting up of the environment and ecosystem. As we move into later modules, so module 5, for example, we'll actually start building our ads and setting up our environments and really using some of these skills that we're learning and some of this information that we're learning in this module. So this module is more for you to absorb and learn and retain some of that information, which is why we've got text and then quizzes, because you can, it makes you actually have to read the information as you were mentioning in order to answer those questions. And so because Facebook may not be familiar for a lot of people, we wanted to make sure that everybody kind of starts on the same level, understands it deeply before moving on into other parts of the program. So yes, you will have the opportunity to practice, but this is very much designed to give you the foundational information you will need in order to move forwards. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes, we got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Uch.
Cool. And so first day one, lots of information on Facebook, lots of really detailed, interesting bits of information. How you're feeling? Has anybody got any questions that they want to ask about the content or about Facebook more broadly, or anything else which is program specific? Lots of silence. That means everybody understood everything 100%. You guys are amazing. Everything.
I mean, the introduction. I mean, the session did explain pretty well. So I think I don't have questions yet because I really enjoyed the session, and most of the explanation from the lesson is pretty I mean, like, how can I say,
Straightforward.
yes, straightforward. yes, that's right. And I can totally understand it by just reading it and explain reading it. I do some small research through Google and stuff. Then yeah, that is the reason why I don't have any questions.
Perfect. Anybody else? Does anybody else have any questions, or does anybody else not have any questions?
Hello, Uch.
Hi.
Sorry, I have a question regarding to possible test. Could you explain it again?
So I only caught half of that. What was your question regarding?
It is wait a moment. Chapter 3, understanding the buying cycle, and number 5.
Okay. So what is your question specifically about?
I'm still not clear about that point.
About post-purchase, point
Yeah.
5? Okay. And so frame that for me in a very specific question. So what about it don't you understand? I'm just gonna mute a few people if you don't mind.
Maybe you can explain like which chapter and sort of like you don't understand. Maybe which can actually got your point clearer.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll give a kind of a broad overview of what that section is. And then I'd like you to give me a very specific question about what it is that you do not understand. So I'll give you a very quick, broad overview, then I'd like a very specific question. The reason I'm asking for a very specific question is when it comes to kind of working and researching in any kind of environment, having a very specific question is the same as being able to then go and do very specific research. So if you have a specific question, that can become a question that you can type into Google, for example, to help you get very specific answers back. And so research, we call it desk research, is when you have a specific question, you then go and find answers for that question, and then that then helps you move on with your work. So I'll give you a very broad kind of overview of what section 5 of the buyer's kind of cycle is. But then in return, if you can give me a very specific question, we can move on from there. So in terms of post-purchase, so the buyer cycle helps us understand the different stages that a customer will go through. And so at the very beginning, they are what we call a prospect. So they haven't actually indicated any desire to buy our product or service. We are trying to convince them that they have a problem and that our service or solution can fix that problem. And so as we take them through the buyer cycle, they end up at hopefully a point of purchase. And so once I have purchased a product or your service or something else from you or your client, I am now a customer. And so post-purchase is everything that happens after I have made that purchase. And so now that I am a customer, there is a saying which says it is far cheaper to keep your existing customers than it is to get new customers. And so being able to keep your existing customers happy and turn them into repeat customers is a much more effective way of doing marketing than always trying to get new customers in. You should do both, but trying to take care of your existing customers is a very valuable activity and somewhere you should be spending some of your marketing and your clients' marketing budget on. So post-purchase is everything and every kind of marketing and engagement you do with a customer after they have question. That's okay. Did you hear what I did? Yoli just mentioned that my audio may have cut off, and so did you hear what I said? Did you understand what I said? And now can you give me a specific question related to the post-purchase phase of the buyer cycle that we can then look to answer?
So it means that it is the way that we can create strategy to retarget the customer that we have been selling the product for them, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so post-purchase is, or any marketing which focuses on the post-purchase part of the journey, is looking at retargeting. We also talk about upsell and cross-sell. And so upsell is when I sell you more things. And so you've just made a purchase. The upsell is where I sell you more things of the same product, or maybe a better version of that product. And then cross-sell is when I sell you related products or services. And so in the chapter, I think we use examples of a car. And so if I were to sell you a car, an upsell would be actually one, I sell you an improved version of that car. So you came in to buy a 3-liter engine, but I sold you a 4.5-liter engine. That's an upsell opportunity. A cross-sell in the post-purchase, for example, might be something like selling you car insurance or an extended warranty service. These are additional services that I've sold you after you purchase that car. And so upsell and cross-sell are two of the things you can do in post-purchase, but also just keeping your customers happy and keeping them engaged. And so keeping a conversation going, it might be a weekly or a monthly newsletter. It might be something like sending them offers. It might be remembering their birthday and sending them a birthday message, which seems personalized, or messages on certain holidays like New Year's or Christmas or
We can't hear you, Uch.
Internet slow.
Yeah, I think it's the internet, guys. Sorry, it's we're both on the same. Are you on the Wi-Fi? Yeah.
Uni, how about like, would you mind to close your video and then maybe it would
Yeah.
help us well?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Wait. We can't. Are you talking in the?
not yet.
Okay, try now.
All right, cool. So yes, what I was saying, can you hear me now? Yeah.
A bit like click. Would you mind to speak louder because I could not really hear you? Can you try? Yeah, now it's good. It's good. It's good.
My hands-free quit is on the back of my neck. I've just realized. That's probably why you couldn't hear me.
No,
Okay.
crystal clear.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, it was just me, human error with my hands-free kit. Okay, so I was saying in terms of post-purchase, some of the things you might want to do is upsell and cross-sell. And so these are activities you can do afterwards. And so, yeah.
Can someone explain to us what upsell is and what cross-sell is before Uj goes on? He just explained it to you, but it would be good to have someone, maybe Van Hai, do you want to explain to us what upsell is and cross-sell is?
I'm not clear about it. I think Rani is clear about it.
Okay, Rani is like, no, why? Okay, so someone who is clear about it.
What happened, Van Hai? What happened?
Why me? I clearly explain everybody in my team, so I am sure that they are also sure.
Okay, so who is in your team? Who from your team, from your room, can explain to us? Can you nominate someone, Rani, to explain to us?
Mr. Vishna, he raised hand.
Yes, also Mr. Vishna and Mr.
I mean, I'm in your team.
So you are clear.
So you are clear, Viesna? Do you want to explain to us?
Come on.
Let me try.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, for upselling, it means that if we sell some product, but we try to convince the customer to buy a higher quality or more expensive product. For cross-selling, cross-purchase, I mean, we try to convince the customer to purchase additional product. For example, if he buy a car, like we explained, we try to convince the customer to purchase like car insurance, something like that. That's all I understand. Thank you.
Perfect. 10 out of 10. Top marks.
Awesome.
Van Hai, can you now explain to us as well?
I need more time, I think.
Just tell us what you understand now. It doesn't, guys. Please don't shy away, from explaining whatever you understand. Just explain it how you understand it, And if you don't, this is the only way you're going to get better at it, by trying to explain it in front of us. I think Pirun raised his hand and as he would like to try it. So he's jumping to your rescue now. Go for it, Pirun.
Yeah, thank you for opportunity, and hello everyone. I would like to try for this question. Based on my experience and my knowledge, upselling is about the convince. Both the option is about the convince. Upselling is mean, for example, you should have the multiple choice that you have design for different category. For example, like if we are selling the car, we have the normal option, half option, and full option. So upselling is mean that for if the customer want to buy the normal option, so the upselling is mean that you have to convince them and orient them with what is more advantage on using the full option. Is it for the upselling? It means choose the better choice to expand the profit and expand the advantage. About the cross sell, it means that you have for the additional or accessories of the product. For example, if you buy iPhone 12 Pro, so you have to to have a look for more accessories like adapter or the earphone or the Bluetooth headset, for example, to add on the product. This is the cross sell. Thanks.
100 out of 10.
Definitely. What I really like about that is that you use different examples. And so the iPhone example was a really good example to use. And the fact that it helps me and the team understand that you really understand the concept of upsell and cross-sell. And so if anybody else wants to have a go and they have an idea of a different example, so we understand how it works with a car. That's if anyone wants to have a go at explaining upsell or cross-sell using a different example, not a car or not an iPhone, that would also be really cool to hear as well.
Let me try. I think I have one example. If, for example, for the customer coming to us and he's looking for buying the computers, so their goal is to get a computer for office work, but we're trying to convince them to upgrade their RAM, upgrade their VGA, or any other part to make that computer is more suitable for heavy work like photo editing or something like that. And that is called upsell. And for the cross-sell, is mean when we're trying to convince them to buy more add-on like warranty. If they buy the warranty for extra cost, they will get the free service for installing the software for 1 year or something like that.
Great examples, really, really strong examples. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. And again, I think just to kind of wrap that up, so just so everybody understands, these are very common practices that you will have seen and probably experienced in your own lives when you've bought products or services from either the internet or in shops or in person, because it's a very standard way in which companies can help to drive more profit, as this was just mentioned, right? So the more you can sell, the higher the value. Sometimes the more profit you can drive. And so, for example, insurance or warranty might cost a lot of money, but may never get used. And so if you think about the way warranty works is, on average, if you sell 100 warranties, maybe only 3 or 5 of those will actually use their warranty within that 1 year period. And so that means the other 95 or 97 people, that's essentially free money, because you've taken the warranty money, but you've never had to pay for the repairs on those warranties. And so things like that can be a very good source of profitability. And when you're working with clients and customers in the future, you should always ask them what their services are, what their products are, but also, when you're asked to help promote a product or a service, ask them what the upsell and the cross-sell opportunities are for that product. Because they may not think about that, but if you help suggest that, then you can think about that in your marketing campaigns, and it can be really good for you and really good for them. And all in all, that makes for a much more successful marketing campaign. And we can look at that again in later modules. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes, thank you, Uch, for explaining.
Perfect. Okay, does anybody else have any other questions on any other chapters or parts of this module? Everybody's 100 out of 100 on everything else. It's very impressive. No, okay. So there's no more questions. That's good. Yeah, again, this module is very much about giving you detailed knowledge, which can be applied across many channels, right? And so right now we are looking at Facebook, but the buyer's journey, for example, is a methodology and a practice which you can apply to any kind of marketing or sales. So it's not just online marketing. This can be in-person marketing. It can be on Facebook. It could be on Google. This could even work on, Twitter or any other environment in which you are communicating with your customers. And so these are fundamental kind of knowledge areas which will help you in many different platforms and many different areas of the sales and marketing process. So as you are going through this program, think about how and where you can apply these different pieces of knowledge in different areas and in different ways. And then perhaps between yourselves, when you're having conversations as a group, discuss some of these ideas, discuss how and where you might apply some of this knowledge in ways outside of how it is described in the documentation specifically for Facebook. So these are, again, good conversations to have because it helps you build new ideas. There are 30 of you in this program, and so some of these new ideas you may not have thought about. Working in a group helps you think about these ideas much more creatively. Cool. Okay, Jon, so there's no more questions. Or do we want to wrap up? What do we want to do next?
Before you guys go back to, sorry? No, I'm not. Okay. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. I think your internet, although we have the same internet. Before you guys go back to the rooms to wrap up, are there any? I have a question for you in terms of when you read through the material. Do you find how do you find that? Is about to ask a yes and no question. Want to ask an open-ended question? How are you guys finding the material?
I think it's the kind of the processing for selling from the beginning to the end.
Mm-hmm. How about the language understanding? How is that going?
Yeah, I need Google Translate.
Okay, yeah. How many people need Google Translate? Can we put our hands up, or can we can we say? So one high, one, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 5,
Me too.
6, yeah. 6 people.
You're referring to the study
3, 4,
materials,
6,
right?
8, yeah, 9. Mm-hmm.
Okay. No, it is awesome for me because you can find related study materials, informations, link, media libraries to access to. So it's very helpful as if we are interact in the actual classroom actually. So yeah.
Yeah. So interacting in English as well in the classrooms. Yeah.
In English is fine.
Yeah. I would encourage you guys to do that as well. And only when it's like really necessary and you don't understand, or help one another with translating. And especially for those of you who are a bit are thinking, yeah. I'm not encouraging this thinking in here. I'm not allowing you to say my English is not good, yeah, because you hear, you can understand your English is good, and it's gonna only improve from here. But I would encourage you guys to speak in English, so then you can really practice, because if you don't practice in here, you won't be able to improve, yeah.
Okay. Even when we spread out in a group that we are learning in a group, right? We should use language, English as a discussing and everything. Well, it's a great idea. Everyone can improve.
Yeah. And then if you really get stuck and you can't remember what is the word in English, just say, okay, I'm thinking of this word, can someone help me with a translation? Yeah, it's always the case. Yeah, even for me, even though I speak English all the time, because I speak other languages as well, and English is not my mother tongue, like I forget at times certain words. Yeah, so like at times I'm like, what's the word that I'm looking for? Yeah, at times that word doesn't come in any language. So don't, just practice. Don't be afraid to practice. And this is also going to help you when we come back in the main room and you guys discuss with us and explain to us in English a certain concept. Yeah, so it's going to help you with that. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, cool. And I've put together, and I'm going to share them with you as well. When you discuss and have conversations, it would be good to ask certain questions to promote more like discoveries, if you like, yeah, to challenge you a little bit, to think a bit more critically. So I'll share those with you guys. I'll add them into Google Classroom. So check it out. So then you can take from there some, insights. You will get some of those questions as well when we go into Module 4. So typically, the why questions, the W questions, who, what, when, and why do you think that, and what makes you say that, and that sort of thing. Yeah, just to encourage you to think a bit more critically, to really think about your answer, to look at it. Is it based by evidence? Like what data supports my my thinking and so on? Yeah, because this is going to be a very helpful skill in any job that you will go to.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Any more questions? Anything else that you guys want to discuss?
So you need during my Explorer, yeah. Regarding to the chapter 4.3, about the quiz. Actually, there are 3 questions, but I have did one wrong because of misunderstanding. And it's not just me, also some of my team members, they also confused. So I just want you to explain the answer. Okay, so in the module 3, chapter 3, understanding the Bayesian cycle, and question 2, which statement best match the intent state of the Bayesian cycle? So there are 5 answers, but actually most of my team, they choose the first answer. The answer is, in this stage, your customer will compare the various solutions. So that is the wrong one. Instead, the right one is in this state, your customer is searching for solutions. So we are complicated with these two answers. So can you explain what is why you the correct answer is in this state your customer is searching for solution?
Sure. Let me jump in on that. And so you're absolutely right. It's almost designed to be a little confusing just to check your detailed knowledge on the area, right? So it's a very small difference, but a very important difference. And so if you think about these two answers, the correct answer is in this stage, your customer is searching for solutions. That means they do not have any solutions in mind. And so they are looking for possible solutions for their problem. The answer you chose was in this stage, your customer will compare the various solutions. And so for me to compare solutions, that means I've already researched and found solutions that might fit my problem. So it could be the product or service that you are selling. It could be the product or service that your competitors are selling. And so when I am comparing solutions, it means I am looking at 2 or 3 or more solutions which I have already identified. And so that's a later stage in the buyer cycle. The earlier intent stage is I now know that I have a problem and I have started my research to find solutions for that problem. So the difference is very small in the language, but the result is very big, right? And so in the correct answer, I do not have any solutions that I have found. I have just started my research to find a solution that I may like. In the answer you chose, the first answer, I've already found 1 or more, well, 2 or more solutions that I think I might buy. And now I am comparing these solutions that I like to see which one of those I will buy moving forward. So it could be your solution, it could be your customer's solution. So that's a later stage of the, that's a pre-purchase decision. So I'm about to buy something. I have these solutions that I want to purchase. Now I'm just deciding, do I buy product A or do I buy product B? Whereas in the earlier stage, the intent, I do not have any idea of what products are available. So I do not know that product A or product B or product C exists. I'm just starting to research and look for those available solutions. Does this make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense, but just made me conflict. These two answers is very similar, and the point maybe we are misunderstand about what is the real meaning of intent state. Yeah, that is the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can say that. Yeah. So I can say that in the customer we compare the various solution. It's not in intent state. Is that true?
Yes, that's correct. So if we look back at the section, so let me just scroll up and show you. Oh wait, forgive me. No, you're right. Actually, I'm going to go back and I'll give you points for that because it's a very small difference. But I think you are right. If I look back at the answers right now, I'm just looking back at the question itself. The intent stage is, comparing solutions is very much an intent stage. Consideration is going to be a looking for the research. So you are right. I am wrong. I will fix that. And I'll go in and I'll give you some points for that. So well done. You've corrected the teacher. That should be like a special certificate for you. So yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. I think intent stage is comparing the various solutions. And then the consideration stage is very much doing the research.
Well done, Mr. Visna.
There you go. There you go. You made a teacher look silly. I love that. That's always a good thing. You should always know more than your teachers eventually, right? They say the student becomes the master eventually. That's what's happening now. Yes, you are right. Let me fix that right now. Okay. Yeah, that's fixed. Well done. Okay, and any other questions or comments or questions you thought were right but didn't turn out to be right?
Excuse me, can I go back to that question again? At the moment my internet got a bit interrupted. Can I hear the sound of Bong Visna again? It's about his explanation to change that. Because of my idea, because I look at the question, you found the best thing to, of the, I forgot that word.
Intent?
Let me go back to that. Can Bong Visna explain me again about that? I'm sorry.
Vesna, would you mind explaining again? Can you hear me, Vesna? Yes. Would you mind explaining again?
Bong Desa, you didn't get the explanation about which state.
I would like to know which answer is the right one. You answer the right one, or the teacher's answer is the right one?
I think Uch can help you with this. Which answer is the right one?
Don't be shy now, Vesna. You got it right. Own it. And so Vesna's answer was the right answer. And so the stage that we're referring to, where you actually look for new solutions, that's consideration. And whereas the answer selected was for intent. And so comparing solutions is an intent move. Looking for solutions is a consideration stage. And so Vesna was absolutely correct in selecting the first answer. In this stage, your customer will compare the various solutions. He was absolutely right. I was absolutely wrong. And I thank him for correcting me.
Okay, can we go with this? Because of the question is, which statement best match in the intent stage of the best buyer? It's not we can like choose the best match. It's not mean like in this stage your customer is searching for the solution. For me, I said is the right one for myself, because of I don't know it's right or wrong, but I still complicate between this, because I feel like the customer that they compare, for sure they compare the variety of solution. So I mean they compare to find the solution. It's mean like they compare to choose which one is the best thing. So I mean like it's the same thing like a customer is searching for the solution to choose which one is the best for them.
Yeah, so I suppose that it's more nuanced in English, but I think going back to the original explanation that I was giving with Bong Vesna was, the difference is in one of them, I'm looking for solutions. So I do not have any solutions. That is much more of a consideration phase step. Once I have solutions, then I am now deciding between those. So the intent stages, I have an intent, i.e. I have an intention to make a purchase. And when I have an intention to make a purchase, I'm now comparing between possible purchases I could make, so possible solutions. And so the answer which Vesna suggested, the first one, is actually the correct answer. I can see why you may select searching for solutions. It's more a nuance in English, I suppose, than it is in the answer itself. But one suggests that I do not have any solutions in mind. The other one suggests that I have more than two solutions or more than one solution in mind, and I am now comparing. So intent says that I have the intention to buy something, or the intention to make an action. Consideration means I am thinking about making that action. And so that's a very real difference. One is before I have made a choice to make that action. The other one is I've decided to make an action. I'm just deciding which version of that action I will make. Am I going to purchase from supplier A or from supplier B? Am I going to choose this or am I going to choose that? I've already decided I'm either going to make a purchase or make a choice. And so I'm just now deciding which choice I'm going to make. Whereas the other one in the consideration stage, I have not yet decided if I want to make a purchase or if I want to make a choice. And so that is a very real difference. And so the differences remain, but in Vesna's case, he absolutely picked the right answer for this particular stage. If that question read, what was the, which one best matches the consideration stage, then it would be the answer which was originally correct. But for intent, it is comparing because I've already decided to make a choice. I'm now just choosing which one it was. Does this make sense?
Yeah. Just a bit confusing with the word of English. You write question. Your question is make me like complicate with some word. Sometimes I use the word like I found the word the best, so I feel like this is gonna be like the good solution. Like searching for the solution to find out to compare those. I mean, like if it's searching is the best thing, then later that we can compare later. Because for me, I feel like both is outright, but I feel like because you use the word the best, that's why I said like the research solution is the best answer for that.
Yeah, exactly. And this is part of learning. And so I want to encourage more of this because it's only by having these conversations that we can start to talk about and discuss some of the deeper kind of ideas behind some of these words and these terms. So I really want to thank Bong Vesna for bringing this question up, because thanks to this question, A, we now have the right answer, so he's helped everybody else, but also B, we've been able to have a discussion around the topic. And so the ideas are very fundamental, and how we understand them is part of why we have these discussions and these group conversations to help us understand from different people's perspectives what the subject is trying to teach us.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, great. Does anybody else have any other questions or comments that they would like to make? No? Okay, cool. Yoni, are we going to break back into rooms to wrap up? Is that the plan now? Okay, cool. Oh, wait. I think Vedon has one more. Yes.
No, Birum said he doesn't have any. Oh, I have no more.
I misread.
Did you need glasses today?
I think so.
All right, guys, cool. So we'll let you carry on and wrap up for the day. So I'm going to open the rooms again. I've also added, just for your information, on Google Classroom, I've added the links from the sessions. If there are any sessions that you want to revisit from Q&As and from Introduction to Google Workspace. So if there's anything that you want to revisit, you can find it in Google Classroom. Yeah. And if you have any questions, if you need anything, you know where to find us. And if there are no more questions for today, we'll catch you guys tomorrow morning. Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool. Thank you
very
so much. Thank
everyone.
you.
Rich.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good. Okay. Wow.